Look at this abomination. Someone had the audacity to come into my DMs, chat, my DMs, and suggested that I should buy this game. Are you loco? I will not support this. I do not support this industry, not with my money. You want to pay for this so that they can milk you like a little cow? Go for it. But it's a good game. I don't care. I don't care. And I'll explain why it pisses me off in a bit. And of course, the people responsible for it are the video game journalists. And by extension, the academia, the gender studies experts, those are to blame. And by a further extension, the Democrats. The United States of America. Joe Biden, he's to blame for this. You know, they always blame the gamers for everything. It's time for the gamers to blame the politicians as well. Especially that elections are coming. I'll explain how Joe Biden is guilty. Not him, his party. But okay, first of all, what are we seeing here? We're seeing a game which costs around 70 euros. Single player game. And then they milk you with the microtransactions. And one of the microtransactions, like this is absolutely beautiful, right? And one of the microtransactions fixes a problem that the game creates. Like, it doesn't add any new armor, it doesn't add any cosmetics. No, like, the game creates a problem. Apparently, once you create a character, it's like a contract with Satan. It's etched in blood. You cannot delete that character. Like, there is no way to undo what has been done. Now, the DLC, if you buy it, I think it's like 2 euros or something, it allows you to create a new character. There was some soy boy. I don't know his name, but clearly the man needs testosterone because he came into my DMs again to correct me, to fact check and be like, no, actually, after 2 hours of play, you can get the resources to recreate the character. Why, though? Why is that a thing? No other game does that. I don't care that you can, after 2 hours, recreate the character. Why can't I recreate it after I start the game? If I'm not happy with the character made, why can't I recreate? What is this nonsense? What is this invention? Like, obviously, they have the DLC for sale, knowing that they're doing this on purpose, to frustrate people, to milk more money for them. So how are the game journalists responsible, by the way, right? Because this is also a question that needs to be asked. Why are the game journalists responsible for this? Because instead of talking about this, which is a problem that gamers actually are concerned about, and people would actually read Kotaku if they discussed about this, no, for the sexismus and transmophobismus and the far right and the white nationalists and those are the issues in gaming. That's the issue in gaming. It's not this. They never talk about this. This is fine. This is okay. But if they have like a big titty waifu in the game, then they spurg out. It's like, why do you have a big titty waifu and you do not have bear sex like Baldur's Gate? So they constantly, through their efforts, distracted the entire gaming community away from this. Instead of talking about this issue and trying to crack down on it, they were talking about absolute nonsense. Bullshit that no one cares about. In fact, usually they talk, it's like, oh, companies have a responsibility to surveil how people talk in their video game. Like, after they paid 79 euros and they paid even like 200 more euros for microtransactions, it is the duty of the company to listen in. What if little Billy says something transphobic? He creates the dark spells of transmophobia on the video game. You know, like, this is the nonsense that they talk about. Like, literally every single shit that the gender studies professors has decreed, the journalists just copy-paste into their publication. And of course the Democrats, if you look at, like, they're very concerned for the same shit. Oh my god, like, gamers are talking to each other. We need to get the companies to crack down on that. And of course, companies cracking down on that translates into more money for the companies. Because that's the whole thing, right? Like, all the data that the company harvests for you in order to give the government, as we saw the papers coming out, if you're not aware, like the ADL is involved in, the Department of Homeland Security, the feds, I'm not kidding, the feds are invested into policing gamers. All of this gets the companies more money because they harvest data from you. And then they sell it to third party, to advertisers and whatnot, and then they get the DLC from you, and then they get the extra $70. You know, I generally don't understand. Like, lawyers have a very bad reputation, right? Like, no one likes lawyers. There's so many. There's an entire category of lawyer jokes, right? Because people don't like lawyers because they constantly milk you of cash. And for some reason, AAA gets not to get criticized. Huh? Interesting. And what I find even more fascinating, like usually is the excuse, well, it's AAA, it looks gorgeous, it looks amazing. Dragon Dogma 2 doesn't look that amazing. It doesn't look 74 euros amazing. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I seen videos of it, it's a good game, but it's not 74 euros good game. And you know, let me explain it a different way. They always say, oh, well, you know, like they need more money. Why don't they put a big titty waifu with big fat massive tits, a nice plump ass, and then make figurines of her and sell it like normal people? I mean, this is what people in the manga industry do, right? Like, they create a manga, they have their waifus, and then they sell the dakimakuras, and they sell the t-shirts, and they sell the figurines, and that's how they make cash. Like, you don't really need to just, like, sell the DLC in a single player fucking game. Like, on top of that, it's single player, right? Like, I understand when you're like selling DLC, like a new fighter in a fighting game, right? Because it costs money to make that. It's expensive. So I get it. You know, there's like all the animations and the voice acting and paying the people that create the concept and the artists. Sure. You know, like you're creating something new. You're creating a new team in Warhammer. Right, you're creating, a new faction in Warhammer. Like, okay, I get it. I get asking money for that. But, like, asking money to remake a character, get the fuck out. There's absolutely no justification for that. None whatsoever. And again, like, there are other ways of monetization that the gamers would even love you if you did it. There used to be a time, I mean, Blizzard used to do that. They would have their World of Warcraft, and then you had, like, an action figure with a sexy night elfu. People would pay money for it. They would create like a Frostmourne replica. Those were very expensive. Why don't they do that anymore? Because their games look like shit. I'm not talking about Dragon's Dogma, but like, you know, imagine selling a statue of Abby. Ugh. Who the fuck would buy that? Or a statue of Mary Jane from Spider-Man 2. No one would touch that. Imagine having a Dakimakura with that. Jesus fucking Christ. You know, that actually would be a business. Pay us so we don't ship Mary Jane Dakimakura to your house. It would be like extortion. But anyway, right, look at this. And again, like, it's a single player game, right? Like, there's no multiplayer in it. And I do understand DLC that costs money to make, but like, this is like what? Restore the dead to life? 0.99? What the fuck? I would rather play Nikke. I would rather play Nikke than give them money. Because at least Nikke is free to play. Like, you know, they do try to persuade you to give them cash. But again, it's free to play. It's not 74.99 euros to buy. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.